give us a sense of, you say he's doing better. What are the signs, again, that tell you that?
If he were not doing well, he would not be responding to questions. He would not be able to follow commands. He would not be talking. The fact that he is doing all of those things this quickly after having had the stroke and having had the surgery is a very good sign.
And is his speech impaired in any way?
Slightly.
Is he talking in both sentences, or are these yes or no type questions?
Depending upon his level of alertness at that time, if we've just given him some sedation, then it's just one or two words. If his sedation is wearing off, then he speaks in longer sentences.
Doctor, beyond answering your questions, is he showing himself some inquisitive nature about what happened to him? He's a senator. Might he be asking about the State of the Union address tonight, or is it not that detailed?
Well, he asked for his BlackBerry yesterday, so he's ready to go back to work.
Did you give him his BlackBerry?
No.
Doctor, there have been some reports in a magazine that his former wife said that his healthy lifestyle maybe not so healthy, that he ate poorly, had migraines, had to be in a darkened room. Might that have any impact on this condition now?
I don't know about his lifestyle when he lived with his former wife. His lifestyle over the last years that I've known him has been very healthy. He works out regularly. He eats a good diet. I can't imagine being a politician and not having migraines. But I don't think that this event had anything to do with either stress or his diet. It was just one of those unfortunate disasters that happen to people sometimes.
Since you've known him for a while, have you been his doctor for a while?
I have not been his doctor. I have served on his health care policy committee.
What about facial paralysis?
He has slight facial paralysis on the left side at this time.
You mentioned that his speech was slightly impaired. Is that a
Yeah.
slur or how?
It's a slur, and it's because of the facial paralysis.
Does he realize better?
Yes, with therapy, that usually gets better.
What about his spirits? I mean, does he realize what's going on?
I'm sure he realizes what's going on. I don't know the status of his spirits right now. I assume that he's worried, concerned.
Doctor, talk a little bit about replacing the section of the skull. How do you keep it? How do you reinstate it?
Okay, the piece of bone that was taken off is a single piece of bone. When it's taken off, it is deep frozen sterilely so that we can use it to put it back on. When the swelling goes down enough, it's a very simple procedure to go back to surgery, reopen the same incision, which isn't hard to do because it hasn't healed very far, and then everything is just sitting there for you. And you simply put the bone back in its position, connect it with titanium plates and screws, and it's a very firm reconstruction of the skull.
And will the screws be temporary?
No, the screws stay there.
Doctor, you mentioned eager to get back to work. What would that actually tell you?
That was sort of tongue-in-cheek. The point is, he was asking for his BlackBerry, so he's thinking about communicating and thinking about work.
You mentioned his Senate duties at all?
No. At least not to me. I don't know if he has with his family.
Doctor, a great deal has been published about his health condition. Is there anything inappropriate that you noticed that was released, any misconception? He's a senator, and we should understand his health as it truly is. Has anything been inappropriately reported that you noticed?
I haven't seen anything personally. All I know is what people have told me has been either said or published. To my knowledge, his lifestyle is the lifestyle of a normal, healthy person who works out and eats a reasonable diet and takes care of themselves. He had to pass his Navy physical twice a year. He's got to be in reasonably good shape.
Can you give us now what is going to happen in the next few weeks ahead of him?
In the next 4 or 5 days, possibly as long as a week, he will remain in intensive care. The reason for that is this is the period when his brain is swelling, and we want to be able to observe him nonstop. As that goes down, then he would be transferred out of intensive care to a regular floor where he doesn't need such close observation anymore. When we get to the point that his swelling is down far enough to replace the bone, then we will do that. And after that, he would go off to rehabilitation, for inpatient rehabilitation for a while.
Is there a security detail or anything? I mean, he is a senator.
Is that a question I should answer?
At this point, you don't know what date you would be replacing the...
No, not at this time. That's a day-by-day decision.
Okay. Sorry, I got here late. So the gist of your message today, please?
Gist of my message is that the senator is doing very well, and I'm very happy with his progress and where his condition sits right now.
But no one has actually told him he's had a stroke.
I have. Yes, I have.
How did he respond to that?
Really no distinguishing response.
What sorts of things is he talking about if he's even speaking?
Well, he speaks, of course, with his family much more than me because I'm in there periodically for short periods of time. With me, he has acknowledged who I am and acknowledged of what's going on around him and responded to the questions that I've asked him.
Does he seem to be aware of his verbal complications now?
Yes.
Does he have any questions of his own?
Not at this time. Not yet. At least not with me.
And now, is he done being sedated, or might he be sedated again?
You know, there are many reasons for sedation. For example, if we want to get an MRI of his brain, or we want to repeat what's called his MR angiography, you have to be very still for that. To do that, we would have to sedate him. If he can't sleep because this is intensive care, sedation might be given for that. Other than that, it's really very mild sedation. He is not heavily sedated by any means.
You're listening to Dr. Richard Fessler, a neurosurgeon at Northwestern, treating Mark Kirk, who is now in intensive care and will remain there, as the doctor has said, for at least the next 5 days to 1 week. That is because his brain is still swelling after his stroke, and he is going to have to be monitored. He says, though, that he is happy with his condition so far, happy with his progress so far, and that Senator Mark Kirk is doing well.